I think by now most people see Crunchyroll's Anime Awards as a joke after last year's Yuri on Ice debacle. But hey, you gotta give points to Crunchyroll for trying again, right? They tried harder this year after all. Well, maybe in the categories and winners they tried harder, but there were some other obvious problems with the show. I think I'll get this out of the way now. My biggest problem with the show wasn't the awards. It was everything else. The multiple audio hiccups, the cringy as fuck pre-show, something that in my mind should have showcased some of the well-known guests they had. But hey, nobody really cares about that, so I'll just walk away with my biggest complaint about the show before we get into my thoughts on the entire thing. The band Blue. My ears actually really hurt from how bad they butchered Tank. Their onstage antics were distracting, their movements just seemed erratic and unnatural, and while you had other stationary, albeit by necessity, band members, moving so much draws attention away from them when they are just as important as you, the moving member. Anyway, my thoughts on the Anime Awards are pretty simple. The expectation going in this year for many people was this would be the Yuri on Ice Awards 2.0, or better known as the My Hero Academia Awards, and it really seemed like it was going in that direction for a while. There were a few nice surprises up to the Anime Year Award, like Sangatsu no Lion receiving the Best Continuing Series over both Dragon Ball and Detective Conan. Count me surprised. It's kind of obvious by now Crunchyroll learned from last year, and my biggest fear was that they would pull the same thing again. Because this time around we're dealing with a show that has a really huge following that isn't as degraded as the Yuri on Ice fandom was last year. Truthfully, had My Hero Academia taken home Anime of the Year, both Crunchyroll and My Hero Academia would have lost a lot of respect. A lot of the fans would be getting into fights with people who just hate the show because their favorite show lost. Of course, this is still happening, but the blow was really softened more than it could have been. Of course, I'm also ecstatic that Made in Abyss won. It was my top contender, and really I hope it gets more people to check out the show, but I saw it a mile away that if My Hero Academia won, we would be in the same spot we were last year. Now, just like last year when Yuri on Ice actually won awards it deserved, the same can be said for My Hero Academia. While I do disagree with a lot of what it won, there's still well-deserved awards, and some can honestly be chalked up to bad competition. Like the Best Hero category. What else would have won but a character from a show about heroes? Kind of feels like Gin Minowa was placed in there just because of that. Deku's a staple for heroes right now, of course he'd win. But if I had any complaints about the actual awards, the actual nominations, etc., it would be the one thing they repeated from last year, and that's the lack of variety. Some categories had 2 entries from the same show, which is unnecessary. If the point of the nominations is to drive attention to more shows, that's counterintuitive. The quality control this year was overall better for the awards, it seems, and I assume the awards weren't 100% decided by the popular vote this time, and they actually utilized their judges this year instead of just using them as people to supply nominations. Just work out a few kinks next year, Crunchyroll. Improve the quality of the actual show, have a few less audio hiccups, and fix whatever was going on with your live band. Whether that was them being terrible or them having terrible live mixing. Kind of going with that last one, looking at all the audio hiccups the show had in its entirety. Oh, and if we could pay more attention to what we're showing on screen, that'd be great. Anyway, mistakes were made. Just improve them next year.